She was accused, humiliated, cast out into the storm like trash. But hidden in the shadows was a truth so explosive, it would destroy a 25-year reign of terror and ignite a love that society said was forbidden. One woman, one lie. One man brave enough to choose her over everything. If you're not subscribed, you're about to see exactly why you need to hit that button now. And smash that like if you're ready to see power get destroyed and love rise from the ashes. This is Sophia's story, and it starts with betrayal. The rain came down in sheets, soaking through Sophia's thin jacket as she stood outside the servants' entrance of Ashford Manor. Her hands trembled not from the cold, but from the words still echoing in her head. "You're fired. Pack your things and leave." She clutched the cardboard box tighter, feeling the bottom grow soft from the rain. Inside were 3 years of her life. At the manor, a spare uniform, a photo of Lily, the small clock from her nightstand. Everything else she'd left behind in her rush to escape Victoria's cold satisfaction. Thunder rumbled overhead. The bus wouldn't come for another 40 minutes. Sophia had checked her phone 3 times already, watching the battery drain, along with her hope. She had $17 in her wallet and a sister who needed medication that cost $200 a bottle. Car headlights cut through the rain. A black Mercedes pulled through the manor gates and stopped near the entrance. Sophia turned away, not wanting whoever it was to see her like this, defeated, drenched, desperately trying not to fall apart. The car door opened, closed. "Sophia?" She knew that voice. "Nathaniel Ashford, I'm leaving," she said without turning around. "The bus doesn't come for a while." His footsteps approached, quick against the wet pavement. "What are you doing out here? What happened?" She turned. Confusion marked his face. He didn't know. "Miss Victoria fired me. About an hour ago." "Victoria fired you? Why?" "She said I broke something. A porcelain figurine in the library." The words tasted like ash. "I didn't touch it, Mr. Ashford. But that doesn't matter." Nathaniel ran a hand through his dark hair, rain already dampening it. "Come inside." "I'm not allowed inside anymore. I own this estate, Sophia. Not Victoria. Come inside and tell me what happened." The box in her arms was disintegrating. Sophia looked down at it, at 3 years of work literally falling apart in her hands. "Fine." The library felt like a crime scene. Victoria stood near the fireplace, composed and elegant, a teacup balanced in her hand. Her eyes widened when Sophia walked in behind Nathaniel, then narrowed with something dark. "Nathaniel, what is she doing here?" "I told her to leave the premises. I want to understand what happened." Nathaniel shrugged off his wet jacket. "Sophia says you fired her for breaking a figurine, because she did break it." Victoria set down her teacup with deliberate care. "I found her standing over the pieces. These people are always so careless with things that don't belong to them." Sophia's spine stiffened at the emphasis on these people. "I wasn't standing over it," Sophia said, keeping her voice level. "I heard it break and turned around. The pieces were already on the floor." Victoria's smile was thin and sharp. "Of course you'd say that. But we both know your kind." "My kind?" Sophia's voice cut through the air. "Your kind of worker," Victoria continued smoothly, "tends to take shortcuts, rush through tasks. It's why supervision is so important. I've worked here for 3 years without a single complaint. Until today." Victoria turned to Nathaniel. "I've been patient with her, truly. But your father always said you can't expect the same standards from certain staff. They simply weren't raised with an appreciation for fine things." "That's enough, Victoria," Nathaniel said quietly. But Victoria was warming to her subject now, her mask slipping. "I told your father it was a mistake hiring her. I said, 'Thomas, you're letting them into spaces they don't understand, giving them access to things they can't possibly value.' But he insisted on these diversity initiatives. And now look at what's happened." "I didn't break it," Sophia said, her voice shaking now not with fear, but with fury. "And you know I didn't." Victoria's eyes flashed. "Are you calling me a liar? In this house?" A house where my family has served honorably for generations, while yours. She stopped herself, but the implication hung heavy in the air. While mine what? Sophia stepped forward. Say it. Say what you really mean. I mean that some people understand their place, and some people need to be reminded of it. Victoria's composure was cracking, revealing something ugly beneath. Your people have only been allowed in places like this for a few decades, girl. Don't forget that. The slur landed like a slap. Nathaniel's face had gone pale, then red. Victoria, I'm checking the security footage. The room went very quiet. The security footage? Victoria's voice changed, but she recovered quickly. Nathaniel, this is beneath you. You're really going to waste time because she's making excuses? Every main room has cameras. Nathaniel moved to the desk and opened his laptop. If Sophia broke it, we'll see that. This is ridiculous. Victoria's voice rose slightly. Your father would never have questioned me like this. He understood loyalty, understood tradition, understood the natural order of, here it is. Nathaniel turned the laptop screen toward them. On the monitor, Sophia moved along the western bookshelves with her cleaning cloth, her back to the display case. Her movements were careful, methodical. Then Victoria entered the frame. She glanced toward the door, reached out, pushed the figurine. It toppled, fell, shattered. Victoria arranged a cleaning cloth near the debris, composed her face into an expression of shock. She screamed. On screen, Sophia spun around, confusion and horror on her face. Victoria pointed at her with theatrical accusation. The real Victoria stood frozen by the fireplace, her face drained of color. Nathaniel replayed it. His hand shook on the laptop. 25 years, he said quietly. 25 years my father trusted you. Nathaniel, you don't understand. You were about to destroy her livelihood. You were going to let her leave with nothing. His voice was deadly calm. And you did it because of the color of her skin. I did it. Because she doesn't belong here. Victoria's composure shattered completely. None of them do. Your father was weak, letting standards slip, letting people like her think they could be equals. Get out. Nathaniel's voice was ice. You have 1 hour to pack your things and leave this property. Victoria's mouth opened, closed. You can't be serious. I've given my entire life to this family. 59 minutes now. Victoria's face twisted with rage. She looked at Sophia with pure venom. You think you've won? Do you think this means anything? Her voice dropped to something cruel. He'll tire of you soon enough. Men like him always do with girls like you. You're just a novelty. A little project to make him feel good about himself. Leave. Now. Nathaniel stepped between them, his body shielding Sophia. Before I call the police. Victoria grabbed her purse, her hands shaking with fury. When he throws you away, and he will, don't come crawling back. You'll have nothing. You'll be nothing. She stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to make the walls shake. Silence crashed over the library. Sophia's legs gave out. She sank into the nearest chair, her soaked clothes clinging to her skin, her mind unable to process what had just happened. Victoria's words echoed times, "You're just a novelty, a little project, asterisk, Sophia." Nathaniel's voice was gentle now. She couldn't look at him, couldn't let him see the doubt creeping in. I should go. Change. Get out of your way. Look at me. She shook her head. He knelt in front of her chair, bringing himself to her eye level. Sophia, look at me. Slowly, she lifted her eyes to his. What she saw there made her breath catch. Not pity, not guilt, something deeper. She's wrong about you, he said quietly. About everything. Is she, though? Sophia's voice cracked. I'm a maid who just got her employer's closest friend fired. By tomorrow, everyone will know. Your reputation. I don't care about my reputation. You should. Victoria knows people, important people. They'll come for you, for this estate. Let them come. His jaw was set, determined. Do you know what I saw when I watched that footage? Sophia shook her head. I saw her deliberately destroy something precious, then blame you without hesitation. I saw you accused of something you didn't do, and you didn't even defend yourself because you've learned that people like you don't get believed." His hands clenched into fists. "How many times has this happened? How many times has she done this? Too many to count. And I missed all of it. I was too busy trusting the wrong person." He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and took her hand. "I'm not gonna miss it anymore." The warmth of his hand sent electricity through her. Sophia looked down at their joined hands, his pale against her brown, his larger and steady, while hers trembled. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. "You barely know me." "I know enough." His thumb traced circles on her palm. "I know you've been working here for 3 years without a single complaint. I know you stood in the rain with nothing, rather than begging to come back inside. I know you have a sister who needs you." His eyes held hers. "And I know that when I saw you outside tonight, something in my chest cracked wide open." Sophia's heart hammered. "Nathaniel, stay, please." His voice was rough with emotion. "Not as a maid. Help me fix this place. Show me what I've been too blind to see. I can't do this without you. I can't afford to stay. I have bills, rent due, Lily's medication. I'll cover everything. Full salary, benefits, housing if you need it." He squeezed her hand gently. "This isn't charity, Sophia. It's restitution. It's me trying to make right what should never have been wrong." Sophia searched his face, looking for the lie, the trap, the inevitable betrayal. But all she saw was sincerity and something else, something that made her pulse race and her defenses crumble. "Okay," she breathed. "I'll stay." Something blazed in his eyes, relief and triumph, and that unnamed thing that made the air between them hum. He stood, pulling her up with him, and suddenly they were close. So close she could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. "Thank you," he said softly. "Don't thank me yet. You might regret this." "I won't." His hand came up to cup her face, his touch gentle. "I promise you, I won't." Sophia's breath caught. They stood there, frozen in the moment, the rain hammering against the windows like a heartbeat. His thumb brushed her cheekbone, and she felt herself leaning into his touch before she could stop herself. "Sophia," he whispered, his voice rough, "tell me I'm not imagining this." "Imagining what?" "This. Whatever this is between us." His other hand came up to frame her face, his touch reverent. "Tell me you feel it too." She did. God help her, she had loved him from the first time she saw him. It was terrifying and impossible, and everything she'd learned not to want. But standing here in her wet clothes, with rain drumming against the windows and the remnants of her old life scattered on the floor, she couldn't lie. "I feel it," she whispered. His eyes darkened. He leaned in slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. But Sophia didn't pull away. She rose on her toes and closed the distance between them. The kiss was gentle at first, questioning. Then his hand slid into her wet hair and her fingers clutched his shirt, and everything ignited. 3 years of being invisible, of swallowing hurt, of making herself small, all of it burned away in the heat of his mouth on hers. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Nathaniel rested his forehead against hers. "I've wanted to do that since the moment I saw you in the rain," he confessed. "We shouldn't. This is crazy. I don't care." He kissed her again, softer this time. "Let it be crazy." A knock at the library door made them spring apart. "Mr. Ashford?" a voice called from outside. "Sir?" "There's a situation with the staff. They heard about Victoria leaving, and they're asking questions." Nathaniel cleared his throat. "I'll be right there." He looked back at Sophia, his eyes still heated. "We're not done with this conversation." "No," she agreed, her lips still tingling. "We're not." He kissed her once more, quick and possessive, then headed for the door. Before opening it, he turned back. "Get some dry clothes. Rest. Tomorrow, We start rebuilding this place. Together. After he left, Sophia sank back into the chair, touching her lips, her heart racing. Everything had changed in one night. Everything. The next morning, Sophia stood in what used to be Victoria's office, now her office. The transformation felt surreal. She wore proper clothes now, not a uniform. Her desk faced the window overlooking the gardens. Nathaniel appeared in the doorway with 2 coffee cups. "How are you settling in?" "Still feels like a dream." She accepted the coffee, their fingers brushing. The spark was still there. Good dream or bad dream? "I haven't decided yet." He moved closer, setting his cup down. "Maybe I can help you decide." His hand found the small of her back, pulling her closer. "Good dream," Sophia whispered against his lips before kissing him again. This kiss was different from last night, less desperate, more certain. Nathaniel's hands settled on her waist, and she wound her arms around his neck, losing herself in the warmth of him. When they broke apart, he smiled. "So, about rebuilding this place." "Right. Work." She stepped back reluctantly. "We should probably focus on that." Probably. But his eyes said he'd rather keep kissing her. Over the next 2 weeks, they transformed Ashford Manor together. Sophia interviewed every staff member, documenting years of Victoria's abuse. The stories poured out wage theft, impossible standards, racist comments disguised as suggestions. "She told me my natural hair was distracting," one maid shared, tears in her eyes. "Made me wear it pulled back so tight I got headaches. She cut my hours when I asked for time off for my daughter's graduation," another said. Nathaniel listened to everything, his expression growing darker with each account. "We're paying back every stolen dollar, and from now on, fair wages, reasonable hours, respect." That evening, Sophia found him in his study, staring at financial records. "You okay?" She moved behind his chair, her hands settling on his shoulders. He leaned into her touch. "I keep thinking about my father. Did he know? Did he see what was happening and ignore it? I don't think he knew." Sophia's fingers worked at the tension in his neck. Victoria was careful. She controlled who had access to him. "That doesn't make it better. This happened under our family's name." He caught her hand, pulling her around to face him. "I'm sorry. For all of it. You're fixing it. That's what matters." He tugged her onto his lap. She went willingly, her arms draping around his neck. "What would I do without you?" "Probably hire some expensive consultant who'd charge you triple and understand half as much." He laughed, and the sound made her heart skip. "Stay with me tonight." Sophia's breath caught. "Nathaniel, just stay. Talk with me. Fall asleep on my couch while I work." His eyes held hers. "I just want you near me." So she stayed. They ate, reviewed plans for the staff wellness center, argued good-naturedly about budget allocations. And when Sophia's eyes grew heavy, Nathaniel carried her to the guest room, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "Good night, beautiful." She fell asleep smiling. The following week, they held a manor-wide meeting. All 15 staff members gathered in the main hall, uncertainty on their faces. Nathaniel stood at the front, Sophia beside him. "I want to start by apologizing. Victoria's abuse happened on my watch, in my family's home. That's unacceptable." Murmurs rippled through the group. "Effective immediately, we're implementing new policies. Fair wages 20% increase across the board. Reasonable hours with overtime pay. Healthcare benefits. And a wellness center for staff and your families." Shocked silence. Then Mrs. Chen raised her hand. "The wellness center? What does that include?" Sophia stepped forward. "Healthcare clinic, childcare services, education programs. We want to support you and your families." "Why?" someone asked from the back. "Why do all this?" "Because you deserve it," Nathaniel said simply. "Because you've been treated poorly for too long, and that ends now." After the meeting, staff approached them one by one, some with tears, some with thanks, some still suspicious but hopeful. "You're changing lives," Sophia told Nathaniel that night. "We're changing lives," he corrected. pulling her close. I couldn't do this without you. He kissed her then, deep and slow, and Sophia forgot about everything except the feel of him, the taste of him, the way he made her feel seen and valued and cherished. Construction on the wellness center began immediately. Nathaniel spared no expense, state-of-the-art medical equipment, bright classrooms, a children's play area. Every day, Sophia watched the building take shape and felt something bloom in her chest. Hope. One evening, 6 weeks after that rainy night, Nathaniel found Sophia in the half-finished wellness center. She stood in what would become the main hall, looking at the plans pinned to the wall. "Hey!" He wrapped his arms around her from behind. "What are you thinking about?" She leaned back against him. "About how different everything is now. 6 weeks ago, I was standing in the rain with nothing. And now I'm standing in a building that's going to help hundreds of people, with a man who—" She stopped, suddenly shy. "A man who what?" He turned her to face him. "A man who makes me believe in impossible things." Nathaniel's eyes softened. "Like what?" "Like happy endings. Like being chosen instead of tolerated. Like she took a breath. Like love." His sharp intake of breath told her he understood. "Sophia, I know it's too soon. I know we're still figuring things out. But I need you to know." Her voice wavered. "I love you, Nathaniel. I have from the first day I saw you." For a moment, he just stared at her. Then he cupped her face in both hands. "I fell in love with you the day you stood in the rain. I just didn't have the courage to admit it." The kiss was everything tender and passionate, full of promise and certainty. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "Move into the manor," he said suddenly. "Not the servants' quarters. Move in with me, properly. Nathaniel, I know what people will say. I don't care. I love you, Sophia. I want to wake up with you, fall asleep beside you, build this life we're creating, together." Tears stung her eyes. Yes, I'll move in with you." He kissed her again, lifting her off her feet, spinning her around in the empty hall. Their laughter echoed off the walls, bright and joyful. 3 months later, the wellness center opened. The ceremony was small, but meaningful staff and their families. A few supportive community members. No society reporters, no old family friends. Just the people who mattered. Sophia stood at the podium, looking out at the faces before her. This center represents something important, the belief that everyone deserves dignity, support, and opportunity. Not because of their position or their background, but because they're human. Applause filled the hall. Nathaniel squeezed her hand from where he stood beside her. "We're calling it the Thomas Ashford Memorial Wellness Center," Nathaniel added. "In honor of my father, who believed in taking care of people. We're just finally living up to that belief." After the ribbon cutting, as families explored the new facility, Nathaniel pulled Sophia aside. "Come with me. I want to show you something." He led her to a quiet corner of the building, where a wall displayed photos. But these weren't formal portraits, they were candid shots of staff members, smiling, working, living their lives. A recognition wall. Sophia breathed. "Nathaniel, this is beautiful. Look closer." She did. And there, in the center, was a photo of her from that first night, standing in the rain, soaked and defiant, refusing to break. Beneath it, a plaque read, "Sophia Williams, for having the courage to speak truth to power and the strength to help rebuild what was broken." Tears streamed down her face. "You kept this?" "I took it from the security footage. The moment I knew my life was about to change." He turned her to face him. "You changed everything, Sophia. This place, these people, me, you changed all of it. We changed it together." "No." He shook his head, smiling. "You started it. You stood in that rain and refused to disappear. Everything else followed from your courage." He dropped to one knee. Sophia's heart stopped. "Nathaniel, I know it's fast. I know we're still rebuilding. But I also know I want to spend the rest of my life with you." He pulled out a ring, simple, elegant, perfect. "Sophia Williams, will you marry me?" She pulled him to his feet and kissed him, hard and certain. Yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes. The ring slid onto her finger, and Nathaniel lifted her, spinning her around as their laughter mixed with tears. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds, bathing Ashford Manor in golden light. The estate that had been built on silence and oppression was now alive, with voices, laughter, and hope. And in the center of it all stood Sophia and Nathaniel, two people who'd found each other in the rain and built something beautiful from the ruins. They'd started with a broken figurine and a lie. They'd built a future on truth, love, and the radical belief that everyone deserves dignity. As they stood together watching families explore the wellness center, Sophia leaned into Nathaniel's embrace. "We did it. We're just getting started," he murmured against her hair. "This is only the beginning." And it was. The beginning of something real, something lasting, something built not on wealth or status, but on love, justice, and the courage to choose what's right over what's easy. The rain had washed away the old world. Together, they'd built a new one. What an incredible transformation from that rainy night to a love that changed everything. If this story inspired you, please hit the like button. It helps us share more powerful stories like this one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our next heartwarming tale. And here's a question for you. Do you believe Sophia and Nathaniel's love will last? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, your voice matters.